they keep saying, oh, it's worth more, so you have to pay more. And it's like, I don't care if it's worth $1. That makes no difference to me. And if I did sell it, all I would do is just go start another ranch somewhere. I just have to start over. It's like...
Welcome to the LandTrust Podcast, where land, technology, and the outdoors meet. Whether you're a landowner, an outdoor enthusiast, or someone curious about the future of recreation on private land, you're in the right place. Each episode, we share real stories from the LandTrust community, from unforgettable guest experiences to conversations with landowners about their land and why they choose to share it, plus interviews with leaders, shaping how we all experience the outdoors. And now, here's your host, Nick DeCastro.
Today's guest is Bayard Black, a fifth-generation rancher based in Gallatin Gateway, Montana, just outside Bozeman. His property, the Black Ranch, is as historic as it is scenic, with roots dating back to before Montana even became a state. This episode is part of our Seasoned Host series, where we highlight landowners who've hosted many memorable experiences through LandTrust. Bayard has been hosting with us on LandTrust since 2022, and over the past few years, he's welcomed everyone from shed hunters to fly fishermen to waterfowlers like myself, and others just seeking for a place to hike and take some beautiful photos of Gallatin Valley. In this conversation, we're going to hear what it's meant for him to open up his property, preserve his family's legacy, and why working with LandTrust has made all the difference. Let's get into it. Welcome to the podcast, Bayard. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me, Nick. You pretty much said everything. I don't even know why I'm here.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. As you may tell, Bayard and I have become friends over the years. Unfortunately, I moved down to the Gulf of America in Alabama in September, so Bayard and I don't get to see each other as much, but I have gotten out on Bayard's place many times over the past few years.
Yeah, you left me. You left me here alone. All the people I want to stay are leaving, and all the people I want to leave are staying.
Well, and you could tell by the skin complexion, the difference. You know, it's April 11th as we record this, and Bayard is looking very grizzly and white, and I'm very tan now down here.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Bayard, I'd love to hear and just tell folks a little bit about the Black Ranch and its history. So tell us about your family's lineage there and the ground there.
I'm fifth generation. We have 8 sixth generation kids running around here. And like you said, we've been here since before Montana was a state. So great grandpa Alexander Hamilton Black moved out here with his brothers originally, kind of in an attempt to avoid war. They weren't looking to be in any kind of battles. And they ended up, one of them ended up staying. And then that was just been passed on from generation to generation. And my great-grandpa Bayard then inherited the ranch and just took the reins. And he actually farmed sheep. And the ranch was a lot bigger back then. It was, I think it was up to like 40,000 acres. He had land all over the valley. And then he ran into some health issues and ended up selling off a lot of the property. It was such a big piece of property that even though parts of it were sold and there were cousins and aunts and uncles involved over the years, that it's still been a pretty substantial piece of property, has been preserved. So praise the Lord for that. And now my brother and I are the managers and owners, and we're taking the reins and trying to run with it, trying to leave it better than my parents did. And that's a big task because they worked extremely hard to preserve it for us, just like their parents did. And every generation has done that. You know, we've left it better than the generation before. So I'll be out in the field or I'll be out fixing fence and I'll see a corral pole that's an old cedar corral pole that's still holding. Probably something like my great-grandpa put in a post, or the way they dug the ditches that run across the place. Just the subtle ways that they understood how gravity was going to bring water across from miles and miles away. just these incredible things that they did to make the place a better place and that we're benefiting from now is really humbling, and also just puts a sense of responsibility so that we can do the same thing for future generations. So, yeah, a lot of legacy, a lot of family stuff, a lot of, you go down to the river and there might be an old car that was thrown down in the river. That's where all the fish are, kind of stuff. Just it's a really incredible place. I love it very much, and I'm just doing everything I can to try and preserve it and keep up with this area.
I think that's a great kind of segue, Baird. For those people who don't know, Gallatin Gateway is effectively just right outside Bozeman, and Bozeman, Montana has obviously grown immensely. I actually just moved my family from there because it became too expensive for us to live with 3 little kids. And, those are just the realities, and home prices are astronomical. So, your family's ground is obviously extremely valuable from a development perspective. And, I know that it's important to you and your family to maintain the heritage there. So, how has that affected your guys' operation, your place, how you look at it? Because there are a lot of developers out there drooling over, the place that you live and your family's lived for 5
Yeah, so
generations.
there's a couple factors that we're essentially in this battle against, and if it was easy, it wouldn't be worthwhile. Um, so we end up our property taxes are something that have continually gone up. And what happens essentially in Montana is we get an assessment of what our property is worth, and then they tax us based on that assessment. Most of that money goes into the public school system. Ironically, all my kids are in private school. So I'm
Isn't
getting
that great?
double hit there. But that being said, my wife was a public school teacher for 16 years. So I guess there's a little bit of hypocrisy in what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
all that being said, so the property taxes continue to go up. It's not a major expense, but it's still an expense. And what I found it more than anything is in the last even 3 or 4 years, just to give you an idea of cost of inputs have gone up like 30 to 40%. And
Mhm.
as the farmer rancher, we're always battling those costs because we're not making a lot of money. The crops we don't have much for farm field, maybe 140 acres of crops. The problem is a tractor to do the work costs more than a mortgage on a home.
Yeah.
So the costs don't really add up. So we're always looking at creative ways to keep the ranch as close as we can to what it is because we love it and enjoy it. And then we're also looking at ways to utilize new ways to generate income. So I'm going through a lot of situations right now with I have a gravel pit proposal on my lower place on 120 some acres that has been farmed for many years. And what's happened is over time that property that's been farmed, it's been farmed chemically, and so that it's flat and it's not biodiverse, and it ends up that if I use a gravel pit, I can actually make some money and reinvest in the ranch
Yeah.
and work on some of those legacy issues for my kids and my kids' kids. But then also I can reclaim it so that it's better habitat in the long run. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people moving in. We're in between 2 ski resorts. We've got a university here. We've got the curse here in Bozeman. Um, but
Yeah.
that being said, those folks don't want us to have a gravel pit. And so we get a lot of, we're being sued, and there's they're suing the state of Montana, and there's all these different issues that come up. And I can relate to that idea. I can understand why they don't want a gravel pit, but at the same time, um, I want to be able to use my property rights, and I want to be able to
Yeah.
actually generate some income for the ranch. Now, um, because I'm always looking for opportunities, I do a rock quarry. I have a father and son who are logging part of the place just strategically. So we're taking out trees and potential fire danger. I have an RV site that I park an RV on, and I rent out that site. I have LandTrust, which has become more and more of a part of just making that, meeting that bottom line, going from black to red. I often joke when people ask me what I do, I say, oh, I run a nonprofit. So LandTrust just has become one of those tools for us to be able to keep the ranch the way it is. So that's really nice. But then also share it with people. And that's something that's really fun about LandTrust is I get to meet folks that they've always been really appreciative. They've always been very, I've never had somebody I had to babysit. I've never, and I've had quite a few hosting opportunities, and I've never had somebody that I didn't get along with or that was disrespectful. Everybody's always amped to get out here and to hike around, and they're so respectful, and then they'll write these great reviews. And it's just been a really good overall experience. Not only just from, it's a good way to generate money. We don't do some things that would generate a lot more potential income because we've always done, in the past, we've always done first-time hunters, wounded warriors, and people with disabilities that we take up, and we'll do guided trips up for elk hunts and deer hunts and things like that.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's still really wonderful to get that extra few $100s or a couple $100 here and there, and it adds up. And it helps pay for parts, because you know what? The parts for my side-by-side, or as soon as I need to get a flat tire or something, all those costs have gone up. So every time I have a new bearing that needs to be replaced, I've got a bushing that wore out and this or that, and I get that bill, I think, oh, hey, LandTrust paid for this. So it's just it's a really good thing for me.
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things you touched on there that it's always important. We stress to our landowners. There's people that think that because someone paid for the opportunity, and this is all do it yourself. It's DIY. Again, as Barrett said, I don't have to babysit people. You're a busy person. You feel comfortable. They get maps and they have all the rules. But I've heard some people say, oh, it's too transactional. There's no relationship. We see all the reviews come through on the platform on our side across the country. We're in 1.4 million acres. I mean, the reviews are paragraphs long. And, we're doing a whole nother series called 5-Star Stories where we go through those and talk to the guests and the hosts who hosted them. There's still so much relationship there that's being built. So it isn't this cold transaction. And even though people are paying for the opportunity, they're extremely appreciative. I think probably because they are, frankly. So it's good to hear that. And, to your point, you have kept some of those things that your family found valuable and want to do out of the goodness of your heart. You have a lot of elk and you're in Bozeman. You can make a ton of money if you wanted to sell elk hunts on your property. You would sell every single one of them and you'd make a lot of money. But your family chooses and say, you know what, for us, we want to donate that stuff to wounded warriors or, handicapped folks or, first-time hunters. And we've always respected that and loved the fact that you do that. But I think it goes to show the flexibility that you have with LandTrust. It's your property. You run it how you like.
Yeah, and I've had people that have requested bookings, and I'll just have a lot going on, or I know I'm going to be down in that part of the property fixing fence, or I'll have cattle that I'm moving on a specific day, and I can say no. So from a relational standpoint, I'll get these inquiries. It doesn't take long to manage. I just look at my phone, I get a notification, I respond, I let them know, hey, this is either, a lot of times it's just people asking, hey, do you have turkeys this time of year? Or what has fishing been like? Or is the river murky? Or how many sheds have other people been up hunting sheds? Kind of questions. And then I just respond. And from there, usually, I'd say 95% of the time, it's just a couple interactions. I give them some directions, and lots of times I don't even know they're here. Like, I'll be out working and I don't know they're here. They follow the rules really well. You guys help me set everything up, so it's not like I don't have to have a really complex system for communicating with them. But then, like you said, they come back, they write these reviews, they make it apparent. Lots of times I'll go out of my way just to talk to them and see what their experience was like. If I see them, I'll definitely go out of my way to say hi. And every time that I've done that, people have just been, like you said, they're so excited to be able to see the place. And I think there's something that they feel, I don't know if they realize this or not. Sometimes, the pay to play type business, you have a company where you're paying for something. It gets a bad rap for whatever reason. But in reality, they're helping me pay my bills. So it's almost like they're giving to the nonprofit. They should get a tax write-off.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yes.
And this is something I brought up often, is like, there's so many people that say they're conservation, especially in the hunting community, especially in that region, that, that is their thing. We're conservationists. It's like, okay, well, put your money where your mouth is. This is habitat in a place that a lot of people in your position would cash out, and you'd have generational money, and it would be developed into subdivisions in a year.
Yeah.
And that would be gone forever.
That's the funny thing is, they keep evaluating the property as worth more. They keep saying, oh, it's worth more, so you have to pay more. And it's like, I don't care if it's worth $1. I couldn't care less. Like, I don't.
Right.
That makes no difference to me. And if I did sell it, all I would do is just go start another ranch somewhere. I just have to start over. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. So it is like, it's a user pay, right? So like, you're going and you're directly paying into this thing. It's not being, laundered through the government to then be distributed and skimmed. It's like, no, I'm just, your family's been there for 5 generations. You're the owner today. You pay the taxes on it. You pay for all the improvements, and I'm willing to pay you for the opportunity to go enjoy that. And I'm actually happy that it is paying for, again, it's not paying for everything, of course, but it's contributing to keeping that family there. And so I do think it is a really direct way to actually participate in that,
Yeah, it's awesome. And I appreciate them and they appreciate me. And it's a good situation. Overall, I've been really blessed by it. And just looking, the last couple of years for just finances in general, because lots of times those inputs because of the cost of inputs going up so quickly, it takes time to catch up to that for us individuals. And LandTrust has been what has kept me slightly in the red, or in the black.
In the black or in the red?
In the black, yes. It's been what's kind of kept me. It's been what's kept me right on that edge. And like I said, I'm not generating a ton of money from it. I kind of have this philosophy that I'm never going to overhunt my land, or I want to see the turkey population grow kind of stuff, which it has substantially. But I do like that aspect of being paid for that, and then having that be one of the contributors that makes the business somewhat profitable. And that's a big deal right now. When you consider your inputs going up by that much, to be able to still be in the black is a big deal. And so it is just one more tool in my belt, and it works well. It's when I first started, of course, my dad was very skeptical. The old timers, I mean, they're smart. They know they've been burned enough times. That's what it is. They've been burned enough times.
It totally.
Yeah.
I get it.
But yeah, he said, well, what about insurance? And will somebody sue? And what all these really good concerns. And you guys had taken care of that kind of stuff. So I don't worry if somebody's going to sprain their ankle up there and sue us, or, if whatever it might be. I don't have those concerns when it's somebody coming through LandTrust. I actually have more concern when somebody comes and door knocks than when LandTrust comes in. Now, I still allow people to come if people are willing to come out and say, hey, can we go fishing? Lots of times I'll say, yeah, go ahead. Hey,
Sure.
you've got some geese out in your field. Would you mind if we go shoot some geese? Yeah, for sure. I don't have an issue with that. But there is a management aspect where you're looking at like how often are people coming, and just being responsible about that is super important. But other than that, it's a direct deposit into my bank account, and it's a line item on my accountant's on my taxes. It's very organized. It's very simple. And why not take advantage of it?
And I think that's a good point too. It's funny. I was talking with Caitlin, a down the river neighbor of yours yesterday, and she's just been overwhelmed with door knockers. And with LandTrust as a landowner, like they have different perspectives, right? So they're just really busy and it's just overwhelming amount. So they're just like, hey, give us signs, tell everyone to go to LandTrust, and they can, if there's availability, go and do that there. But like she's getting 6 a.m., 10 o'clock at night, Sundays all day. It's a lot, right? That's again, the beauty of LandTrust is it's flexible. It's whatever you want as a landowner. If you want to still allow that, we do see a lot of landowners now starting to have their friends and family book through LandTrust, but they'll give it to them for like $2. We'll see like $2 bookings come through for the insurance, for the calendar blocking and that kind of stuff. But it is interesting. I would say, my favorite, because I got out on your place quite a bit because I used to live 6 minutes from you. Bayard has incredible fishing on both properties. So there's, the Reese place, and then what's the lower,
call it the bottom
one called?
The Black Ranch, Gallatin River.
Yeah, the Black, Gallatin River. What an unbelievable place. It's probably one of the coolest places because when you're on the river there's a little bit of a hill. So you don't see any of Bozeman. You don't see anything. You just see the Bridgers, and you can really feel like, because Ted's across the river. Yeah. So you really feel like you're not in what is today kind of very quickly developing Bozeman. It's very peaceful. The fishing is outstanding. And you've got a Spring Creek, which I've hunted the last 2 years, obviously not this year, the prior 2 years, I hunted the coldest days of the year. I think it was like 40 and 45 below zero. I went out and shot ducks and geese because that doesn't freeze over. But I've had a lot of amazing experiences on your ground personally, and I know a lot of other people.
That's when you had a beard, right? Before you got soft.
Yeah, I used to have a beard.
Yeah, you were so manly back then.
Beard, and
oh man,
I was a little less tan. So yeah. So hey, my wife didn't want the cold anymore, and like I said, when an average house costs $800,000, it's just it's not very attainable.
Yeah, and I mean that is kind of the thing out here is as not only is it that the price of everything's going up, it's going up at an accelerated rate because of our proximity to Big Sky. And so because there's so much money in Big Sky, and, it's funny, I've met people that were the most incredible people in the world that were very wealthy. And I've met complete jerks that have been very wealthy. It's just like every other group. Yep. And, but what it does is it creates this false market almost where people think, hey, like I can get away with charging this much. Lots of times I'll shop when I'm shopping in little towns on the outskirts of Bozeman. So little towns that are 15, 20 miles away. Oftentimes you can buy the exact same thing for like a half the price or a quarter of the price, just because there is this sense in Bozeman where it's like, well, these people have so much money, we can charge them as much as we want for anything. And it's true. It's almost like that syndrome where you put something on eBay for $50 and it never sells. And then you put it on eBay, you say, I'm going to charge $5,000 for it. And it sells like hotcake the next day.
Yeah. Well, I do miss obviously aspects of it's a beautiful place. And the fact that I was able to get out on places like yours and take the kids out and do all that. There's a reason why Bozeman is a very popular place, but anyways, As we kind of get to a close here, what advice, I assume other landowners kind of in your world, other farmers, ranchers, or landowners who might be considering or listening to something like this, any advice to them if they're curious or hesitant or anything like that about land trust
Yeah, I
generally?
would say just ask lots of questions. So if you get approached by Land Trust or if you hear something like this and you want to do some research, I'd ask a bunch of questions of the staff. One thing that I was really impressed with was just your team was willing to bend over backwards to make sure that it was simple and easy for me to help me get a listing up. The next thing I would do is I would just get a listing up. It doesn't cost you anything to have a listing. I'm not paying any subscription fee to you guys. This is, you take a percentage of every time a payment comes through. So I don't have anything to lose in that sense. If you're concerned about managing it, I can just give you my own experience and say it's a little bit of time, but comparatively, it's very insignificant. And like I said, there are a lot of times that I don't even know someone was up there. They come, they go, and they tell me what an incredible experience they had. So, if you're,
You
yeah,
accepted their booking,
yeah,
just to clarify, like you said yes, you said that you can.
right,
It's not they just show
right,
up, but you accept it. But yeah, they have everything they need to go and
right.
do their thing.
And that does, it's an ego stroke. You always want to share your property. Like my property is the best property in the world kind of thing, and so you get to share that with people, and that's exciting. But if you're hesitant, I would say you don't have anything to lose just by giving it a shot. And if you don't like it, then don't do it. But if you do, and if you're like me and it provides an opportunity to continue to put meals in your fat 3-year-old's mouth and your other rotten children, no, they're amazing. But if it provides opportunity to pay for some things on your ranch, then why not? And
Yeah.
And yeah, I've experienced it. It's just been a win-win for us. And my dad's no longer a skeptic, which is really funny. He went from being like, oh,
When you went over
these
the old
people and
rancher,
their land
you got
trust
something.
and this kind of stuff. And now he's all about it. He's like, wow, that did pretty good. And we do company meetings all the time, and I'll have it broke down as its
Yeah.
own line item. And I'm like, look, hey, it went up by like 70% last year from the first year kind of thing. And he'll be like, hey, yeah, that's really great. And so now he's fully bought in. So I would say just try it, give it a shot. It's not going to cost you anything. Maybe take a weekend when you can get some pictures that you've taken over the years uploaded and stuff. That's kind of the main work, is just getting everything on board. But there again, your staff is just awesome at helping us poor dumb simpletons get everything up online. And it just really was a easy process. And then once you start seeing money roll in, hallelujah, praise the Lord. So yeah.
There you go. Well, I appreciate it, Bayard. Anything, and kind of at close, anything, what's coming next for Black Ranch? Anything new, exciting?
I just would encourage there's not many of us left. I'm noticing like pasture property is diminishing. I think it's kind of where you live, of course, because we're not running out of land per se. It's just that it's becoming more and more unattainable. And for those who are left, I just wanted to encourage you, no matter what these obstacles are that are coming up in front of you. I read somewhere that suicide rates are the highest in ranchers and farmers. And boy, sometimes you can feel like you've got those neighbors that just moved here from X, Y, and Z, and they're telling you that you can and can't do whatever this is or that is. And it's going to be okay. Just keep doing your best. This is not our land, it's God's land. And he's got a plan, and it's better than ours. So if I don't have this ranch someday, it won't be the end of me. That's not what defines me. and just keep your head up and keep working hard. I think when I hear about other landowners, I really appreciate you people that are doing your best to take care of God's land and leave it better for future generations. It's really something special. So thank you. And thank you to LandTrust and all that you guys have done for us. It's been really great. So I can't say thank you enough to you guys for having that vision.
Well, that's a great place. Yeah, it's a great place to end it, Barrett. I appreciate it. And yes, we strongly stand with that.
Have a beautiful day.
Big thanks to Bayard for sharing his story and for being one of our many seasoned hosts who are building bridges between private land and outdoor opportunities. If you're interested in getting out to the Black Ranch to do some shed hunting or fishing, shooting some ducks, photography, birding, foraging, any of those amazing kind of outdoor experiences, you can go to LandTrust.com and search for Black Ranch. You will see 2 listings of his on there. One is the Reese Place, one is the Gallatin River. So highly recommend it. We'll also include links in the show notes here. And if you're a landowner who's thinking about listing your land, it's easy to get started. Just head to landtrust.com/landowners to learn more. Or you can call or text our team at any time at 406-709-8450. We're happy to answer your questions and help you get started today. All right, folks, that's a wrap. Thanks for listening. And don't forget, if you're looking for your next great outdoor experience, you know where to find it, landtrust.com. See you next time.